Welcome to the United States of Tiffany. Our commentary offers a humorous take on wrestling. Please note, we're not bullying or attacking the wrestlers. We're engaging with the choreographed sport and its storylines. Our jokes and observations are about the characters and storylines, not the real people behind them. Tourists and citizens alike, welcome. Enjoy the show, and remember, it's all in good fun.
Well. Smackdown is over, and there have been some recent developments for WrestleMania that we must discuss, unfortunately. There are a few matches that have been added to the Mania card. One of them, I feel like could have been on Friday. And we'll get to it. We'll get to it all. First things first. Hey, that's crazy. We'll start off with how SmackDown started, because it wasn't that great of a show, if we're being honest. It was okay, but it wasn't that great. SmackDown started off with Randy Orton. Randy Orton basically, it's Nick Aldis, and he called out Randy, and he was advised to remain professional, despite the fact that Randy Orton had attacked Nick Aldis with an RKO. Randy came out there and gave his speech, and essentially he was just like, "You should have seen this coming, Nick. I paid it in advance. So just in case something like this happens again, we would be somewhat even." Nick Aldis is like, "I don't want your money. I don't want to get even. I don't even want you to pay the fine. I simply want your respect." And Randy made it very clear that Nick had his respect. He just felt that Nick Aldis needed to go ahead and do his job, find him a new opponent for Mania, and we move on from there. They didn't announce that Nick Aldis was going to be wrestling Randy Orton at WrestleMania, and I'm disappointed because that was the perfect opportunity to do so. However, they decided against it. This allowed for the Bloodline to come out, or just Solo and Tama to come out, and then they attacked Randy. Then LA Knight came. That turned into a tag team match for the main event. Personally, I would have preferred neither of those, but sure. Go off, sis. Whatever makes y'all happy, whatever gets y'all rocks off, I'm fine with, I guess. The next thing we saw was the big gauntlet match for the women. It was actually fairly decent. Maxine faced off and with Natalia. She did okay. She got a little too overzealous though during the match, and she ended up costing her and Natalia an opportunity to advance in the gauntlet. Lyra and Bailey were the ones who started the gauntlet, and they were the ones to win the gauntlet. Despite everybody that they had to go through, from Meechin, B-Chap, Kaden, and Katana, and even PFC, which they looked like they were not on the same page. Shayna looked like she did not even want to be there. So I don't know what was going on with that. But going through all these other tag teams, they ended up being able to be the ones that are going to compete against Liv and Raquel at WrestleMania. Me personally, I'm just not interested in any of it. I generally don't care. And that's sad. That's really sad because this is a really big card. This card has a massive amount of people on it. It's insane how massive this card is. Meanwhile, the women's tag team champions, they have no render for Mania currently at this moment. I'm looking at WWE's website. They have no render. Just such a slap in the face, bro. Like they have no render. And you know what? I didn't know the match was a Sin City street fight for McIntyre and Priest. I missed that. But anyways, they have no render, but they have New Day and M's render up here, which is very interesting and telling. Anywhoosies. Hello Jay, hello Jonelle, how are you guys? So moving on. What else happened? Like I said, it was a pretty simple, mundane show. There wasn't really a lot going on other than Charlotte attacking Tiffany Stratton in the parking lot and then attacking her again after her match with Roxanne Perez. I was very confused as to why they chose Roxanne to be the one that Tiffany Stratton faced off against. This was Roxanne's second match, I think, on SmackDown. No, she hadn't wrestled on SmackDown before, and she lost. And I was like, well, geez, like, okay, that was very interesting. Um, yeah, so we got done with that. Ray Phoenix went up against Humberto Carrillo. That actually was a very fun match. I like that match a lot. I knew that match was going to be good, and it was good. Ray Phoenix did a phenomenal job, and so did Humberto. They were excelente against each other. Love that for them. They were great. So I love that match. That was a fun match to watch. Um, so fortunately for them, Ray Phoenix did ended up winning this match. Santos was very excited for Phoenix, but he ended up throwing it back in Humberto's face. And Andrade is undermining Santos. He's coming up to Humberto trying to empower him and tell him, look, both of y'all are equally great in your own right. Don't let Santos tear you down like that. Keep your head up and keep going. And of course, he told Humberto told him to mind his business, which we know we could see something of, substance later on down the line. So we had that. Then there was a promo cut with Drew McIntyre. Drew McIntyre and Damian Priest. Damian Priest was headed to the ring. Drew attacked him. Drew cut the promo talking about his eye is healthy. I was like, okay, Captain Patchy, we're good. Like, well, it was such a shocker that your eye is healthy. Well, nothing wrong with it. There was a true injury with his eye, but all of a sudden he's cured. Praise Jesus. Whatever makes you happy, cool. Um, whose car is that coming in our driveway? Mom. She took Kevin home? Yeah. Okay. Anywhoosies. Yes. Drew McIntyre got attacked by Damian after he came back out there. Drew then beat up Damian again. And Diddy did a future shock DDT on the steel steps. And he just looked into Damian's eyes, which was so weird. Murderers do that. Murderers look into people's eyes while they're dying. So that's the last thing that people see. So kudos, you're a psychopath. Anyways, there was that. Roxanne Perez showed up and basically was like, Ava don't want to put me on the card for Stand and Deliver, so I'm gonna go to Nick to see if I could get on the card for Mania. She starts talking shit, which she be spitting some real shit when it comes to Tiffany Stratton, honestly. Um, Tiffany was like, well, if you got so much mouth, why don't you go? Like, let's go. We can go have our match tonight. So they did. I'm gonna be honest with you, babe. I didn't really care enough about this match either to pay attention or focus. I know for a fact that Tiffany Stratton won. Good for her. She ended up getting beat up by Charlotte for the second time tonight. Charlotte attacked her arriving, and she attacked her after she won. And the only reason why she didn't continue to get her ass whooped is because Wade Barrett stepped in the way to block Tiffany from getting beat up, which I don't understand. Like, you literally sat there and watched Drew McIntyre beat the shit out of Damian Priest, but you come in and step over Tiffany Stratton to protect her. Got it. Love that for you. Love that for you. Cause wowzers. That was new. It was new. The Lord works in mysterious ways, but Hunter works in confusing ways. He said, it's me. I decided to pull up so we could tussle over Big E. Child boom. That wasn't even you. It was mine. See how you is? Petty ass. Anyway. Um, Chelsea Green had a match with Zelina Vega today. Weirdest match of the night. 100% weirdest match of the night. I don't really understand what the problem was, but Chelsea threw her skirt at Zelina Vega, which caused enough of a distraction to where she was able to get the drop on her. And Chelsea was doing so much lip service on the outside of the ring that Zelina Vega was able to get in and beat the count, and Chelsea wasn't. When Chelsea finally got in the ring, the ref was already at 10. The match is over. Zelina Vega won on a disqualification, and Chelsea Green was livid. She thought that she could go get her service and have them come out ringside and she would be protected. But unfortunately, both of them were in the trainer's room, so Chelsea had to forego this all on her lonesome, okay? And she was able to do it. Chelsea's not a bad wrestler. It's like the antics just get tired at this point. I just don't. You already know where it's going. We already know where it's headed. It's like, get it over with. Just do what you're going to do and get it over with. Now, they replayed Paul Heyman and CM Punk's relationship. Why? I don't know. I feel like that could have waited until next week. They also went on ahead and then replayed what happened Monday. They replayed what happened Monday. Then they replayed, Seth talking about he's owed a favor. They also replayed the favor from last Friday. It was a lot. And I was just like, this is taking up a lot of time. Do y'all not have matches planned or something? Like, what is going on? So we saw that. We saw no members of that triple threat today. None of them were there at SmackDown today. Why I keep saying SummerSlam? Naomi and Bianca both cut promos individually, and Bianca looked great. I mean, Naomi and Jade. I'm sorry. I'm ready to go to sleep. Jade and Naomi cut promos on each other. Naomi cut a great promo, had razors in her hair. It looked super, super cool. I don't know who did her hair, but they did an awesome job. Jade Cargill, she always looks polished, always looks well put together. She looked great as well. And both women made very, very valid points. But you could tell which one of them was definitely jealous and which one of them wasn't. I'll leave that to y'all as to who was jealous. Um, Cody Rhodes had a very long promo cut with all the championships of the past out there. And essentially, he just rehashed what he's been saying for a couple weeks now. He knew that John Cena was not going to grace his presence in Seattle. I think there was in Seattle. Uh, But John Cena is supposed to be in Vegas next weekend, obviously, because Mania is next weekend. So John Cena is supposed to be scheduled for SmackDown next week. We're gonna see how this all plays out. But it doesn't look like we're on the cusp. This Mania feels like a regular PLE, and I always go into every PLE with no expectations, and I just keep myself calm, cool, and collected, right? But you can't do that. Sometimes you have to think about some things. And in this case, um this mania is extremely overloaded with matches that don't really have much of a build up, but they have some hint of a few that they've had in the past. Um like the reason why War Raiders and New Day are on the show and not the Street Profits and the Motor City Machine Guns is simply because the Motor City Machine Guns and the Street Profits don't have the same tenure, nor do they have the same storied past as the New Day and the War Raiders do. But to be fair, the New Day and War Raiders haven't had any opportunities to rehash that particular time frame. Like they have pretty much kept them separated this entire time. And now, like a week or two before Mania, you want to bring up the fact that they have this past. This is lazy booking, especially for WrestleMania. It's lazy booking. I would have put Motor City Machine Guns and Street Profits on Mania before the New Day and the War Raiders. Do not care about their story past. Don't care about any about that. I'm talking about having Motor City Machine Guns on your show, one of your biggest stages of them all. And they're one of the best tag teams in the world up against the current best tag team in the world, the champions, the Street Profits. That's money in the bank. It's no shade to New Day and to the War Raiders, but I'm going to be honest with you. I don't care about anything that they're doing. I truly don't. That's just me. That doesn't mean that my opinion overrides everybody else's. It just means that I just simply do not care about it. I truly don't. To round this show out, I'm just going to tell you straight up, the end was just a tag team match where Solo and Randy ended up running off and fighting, and LA Knight was able to pick up the win on his own. But he was attacked by Jacob Fatu and suffered 3 moonsaults or 4 moonsaults from Jacob Fatu. And that was it. There wasn't really much going on. There was like some backstage stuff with conspiracy theories with DIY and Pretty Deadly. There was a backstage interaction between the Street Profits and Miz and Carmelo Hayes. They blamed them for the reason why the SmackDown Tag Team Championships are not on the card for WrestleMania. Quite frankly, you being in the tag team division doesn't have anything to do. They have no power over who goes where. And I just think that it's really messed up that y'all decided to go after the Street Profits as if it's their fault why they're not on the card. Obviously, they would have it the other way around. But you're not even in the running to be champion, nor are you competing to get the titles. And I swear, I'm going to be pissed off if they drop those tag team titles to Miz and Carmelo. No shade, but no. Let the Street Profits cook for a little bit. Like, leave them brothers alone, okay? Now, let's talk about this Mania card so I can get the hell out of here. Because, like I said, it was 2, maybe 3 hours of us trying to get through SmackDown. It was a long show for absolutely no reason. Hello. So we're talking about Mania. Mania, I did discuss this with the girls on the podcast. If you want to listen to it, you definitely can. Head on over to Down for the Count, the podcast, YouTube. You can listen to it over on Spotify as well if you want to hear what all of us have to say about the Mania card. We also talked about Swerve Strickland and everything he had going on as well. So let's start off at the bottom of the card. Ugh, this is going to be a long night. All right, so AJ Styles is facing off against Logan Paul. I generally have no care or regard for who wins this match. It doesn't matter. I'm probably not even going to be watching it to keep it all the way 100. This is another match I'm probably not going to care about. This is El Grande Americano going up against Rey Mysterio. These are Mania matches, by the way. They're Mania matches. Now we're getting into some fun. Okay, we're going to get into some fun here in just a second. So we got Damian Priest facing off against Drew McIntyre, and this is a Sin City street fight. I didn't know that because I didn't hear commentary say that until I happened to look at the card over on WWE.com, and it is indeed a Sin City street fight. Now we're getting into some of the more meaningful matches on the card. Jade Cargill will face off against the veteran Naomi, and this is just going to be a regular old fight. So the two of them are just going to battle it out to see who's really on top. And then you've got the triple threat: CM Punk, Seth Rollins, and Roman Reigns. A lot of favors being thrown around. A lot of bouncy back and forth with Paul Heyman being a pawn in this game. I don't know how this is going to play out, but it's going to be an interesting match nonetheless. Moving into title contingency or title matches. The New Day has a match with the War Raiders. I told you I don't care about this match. However it goes is irrelevant for me, but I would guess more than likely the New Day probably is going to get these championships. I'm still not going to care if we're being honest. Fatal 4-Way. This is by far one of the best book matches on the card that really doesn't have a lot of feud attached to it, but it has a nice mix of superstars that's going to make this fun and interesting to watch. Penta is going to face off against none other than Braun Breaker, the current Intercontinental Champion, Dominic Mysterio, and Finn Balor. All four of these men are competing to either retain the championship or gain a title. So, I think this is going to be your sleeper cell match of one of the nights, whatever night that is on. It's going to be one of the best matches of the night for sure. Moving into the other title, the counterpart, we have Jacob Fatu facing off against LA Knight, and I hope that this match is also a banger. I really think that Jacob Fatu might take this one home for the W, but you never know. LA Knight might have a trick up his sleeve and pull out a W over him, and then at Backlash, we run it back, and maybe Jacob gets it there. Who knows? Let's get into the title bouts. Cody Rhodes is facing off against John Cena. More than likely, John Cena will probably take this W with a little help from some higher ups, you know? On the other side, his counterpart, Gunther, is facing off against a very, very focused, angry, and driven Jey Uso, who I believe is going to take the championship off of Gunther for sure. Now, tonight, we saw Charlotte Flair become completely unhinged against Tiffany Stratton, and Tiffany Stratton ended up on her back once again. Now, I don't know exactly how this match is going to play out, but my brain is telling me that Charlotte Flair is going to get her, 15th title? Who knows, babes? But hopefully it'll be a decent match and not a dumpster fire match. And finally, we have the other women's title match. It is a triple threat. Io Sky will face off against Bianca and Rhea Ripley. My assumption in this match is Io Sky is going to win by pinning Rhea Ripley, and Bianca Belair is going to be laid out on the outside of the ring, probably because of Rhea, and she more than likely will not get the championship, and Io will retain due to Rhea's arrogance. And this is going to lead to Bianca and Rhea possibly having a feud of their own, and Io Sky might step outside that feud for a little bit, and then she'll be sucked back in by whoever wins against Rhea and Bianca. So I'm very curious as to how that's going to play out. There's another match that is scheduled to be on this card with the Judgment Day's Cobra and Jaws going up against Lyra and Bailey. Don't ask me why they picked Lyra and Bailey. They just did. It is what it is. Me personally, Lyra's ass wouldn't be challenging for no tag team title when she's a current Intercontinental Champion. That wouldn't be happening. But live your best life. Do you, whatever makes you happy. What? That is Cobra back in Jaws. Anyways, y'all, that is it. That's it. That's all. That's all I got. Tomorrow, I'm going to come back and we are going to read Rico's book. I promised Rico that we would read his book tomorrow. And that's what we're going to do. We're going to read his book. We're going to have a good time. And we're going to read his book and just chill. AJ's going to be gone tomorrow, so it's just going to be me and y'all chilling, having a wonderful conversation and reading a book. So tomorrow, we're not going to talk about wrestling. We're going to keep it chill. And we just going to talk if you need to talk, but we're going to read Rico's book and talk about it and see what y'all like about it and give Rico some positive feedback. He may not be in the live early on, but he said that he was going to try to pop in around 10 or 11. So if you get here and you're listening early on while I read the book, then you guys can give Rico some positive feedback, some positive reinforcement about his book. He does take constructive criticism well, so let's be kind in how we say what we need to say and just tell him how you feel about the book. There are currently 6 chapters of the book, so we'll sit and read those 6 chapters and then we'll talk about what we read. Okay? All right. He said, get you some wine. I'm sad that we don't get any Chelsea shenanigans, but it's okay. Yeah. It's sad all around, if we're being honest. I'm just trying to keep my spirits up. Usually I get real happy no matter what when Mania comes on because I'm just excited to see wrestling and to see all the people and like the hypeness of it. I feel like when they go to smaller places, when they go to cities that are a little bit more blue collar, rather than going to these major cities like Las Vegas and LA, I feel like they have a better time there with Mania than they do when they go to the major cities. They're going to Louisiana next year, so maybe next year going to Louisiana will be a better time. I don't know, but I'm hoping. He said, get you some wine, some charcuterie boards. Charcuterie boards is crazy. Charcuterie boards. Just need snacks, something to drink. We're going to sit and listen. I'm gonna read this book. Y'all going to listen, and then we're going to talk. It's going to be a good time. So, y'all make sure y'all rate, comment, and subscribe. And if you're listening to this in the playback and you haven't subscribed yet, you're missing out, okay? We do all types of conversations over here. I go live at least 3 times a week. If I don't go live, it's either because I'm sick or because something is going down. Okay, I'm taking a break. I usually take maybe 1 to 3 breaks out of the year. Okay, so I'm over here. All right, 83% of the time, I'm here. So you're not gonna miss anything, but you guys will always know when I'm here, and you'll always know when I'm not. Also, I am going to post the Mania menu. I finally got it together. Me and Mom Dukes got everything straightened out. I'm going to post that menu right after I get off of this live. And then if you guys want to, if you want to eat what we're eating, you can. Mania Sunday, we're going to be eating Sunday dinner because it's Easter. And we're going to be eating and enjoying Easter dinner Sunday. So I don't know. I might post that menu too. I haven't decided yet. But y'all don't forget to rate, comment, and subscribe. Make sure you follow me over here. Follow me also on my socials. Everything is scrolling on the bottom half of the screen. You can always donate to the Cash App too, or donate to the Super Chat, or you can become a member to help support the channel because, honey, these streaming services are not free. Okay? But I do appreciate y'all for being over here, subscribing, and consuming my content because it means a lot to me, and I love you guys for it. So with that being said, I'll see you guys tomorrow when we read Rika's book. Bye.
Thanks for tuning in. Don't forget to rate, comment, and subscribe for more wrestling content. Check out our merch and consider becoming a member for exclusive perks, special emojis, and members-only content.